If you ever wondered what it's really like to live in Vietnam long term, this video is for you. Today, I'm sharing the things that have made me question whether Vietnam is my long term home base. Stick around to the end because I'll be sharing the biggest reasons I might not stay here forever. Welcome to my abundant aesthetic life. If you're new here, I've been living in Vietnam for almost 2 years, and while there's a lot to love about this country, it's not perfect. Today, I'm sharing my honest experience, the things that have been the most frustrating, challenging, and even a deal breaker for me. And before everyone comes for me, still love Vietnam. But if you're thinking about moving here, it's important to know both the good and the bad. Number one, the pollution and traffic. When I first moved here, the motorbike culture was exciting. The buzzing streets, the organized chaos. But after 2 years, I realized how much the pollution and constant traffic has affected my health. The exhaust fumes and the smog some days make me feel sluggish and give me headache. And also, I don't really like the trash burning. It's very common here, which only makes the air quality worse. If you're sensitive to air pollution, this is something to seriously consider. I'm just thinking about my kids long term, if this is a good place for them because of the pollution. Da Nang is not as bad as Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. However, when I do check the app for the air quality, it's not the very best either. It's a good thing that we are near the beach, so it's not so bad. Maybe eventually in a couple of years, they're gonna put some laws in to figure out how to deal with pollution and garbage and all that, because it really gets to me and I don't want my kids getting sick. Right now they're okay, but you never know long term how it's going to affect their health, and that's the only concern that I have with pollution. We have found some solutions like get a humidifier, a dehumidifier and all that, and air out your house. When it's a bad day, stay inside. Speaking of health, let's talk about something I didn't think much about at first, but has become a big concern to me, which is food safety. So number two is food safety and regulations. Vietnam has some of the best street food in the world, but one thing that really bothers me is the lack of strict food safety regulations. While I personally have been okay for the most part, I know people who have gotten really sick that they actually had to go to the hospital and stay there for a while. For example, meat sometimes sits out in the heat all day, and the cleanliness varies from place to place. Sometimes I get a little bit concerned because I don't see soap in their bathrooms. It just makes me think, is the workers cleaning their hands? And that's part of a huge thing in the food and safety regulations. Same goes for the road safety. Traffic laws exist, but enforcement is inconsistent. However, over time, I've become more cautious about where I eat and how I get around. Next up, let's talk about finding a home that actually feels like home. So that's number three, finding a home that feels like home. We moved a few times in Vietnam, and while our current place is fine, we are actually moving this month again because our lease is done, but it just hasn't felt quite like home yet. A lot of places are built quickly with low quality materials, so things break down fast. Finding a place like both comfortable and affordable is tricky here, especially with rising rent costs nowadays, especially with the rising rent prices here in Da Nang. A solution I'm trying to figure out to make it like home for my next house is that I'm trying to get more comfortable mattresses, because a lot of the mattresses that they give you are hard. So I'm gonna get a topper and comfy pillows. One of my expat friends gave me some links where they found theirs. I'm excited about that. That's the positive. The next home, I'm gonna buy things to make it feel like home. If we're gonna be here another year, might as well make it feel homey with the things that I feel like home. Even the smallest things like decorative pillows that I used to love in my bedroom and just to hold when I'm cuddling with my husband and my kids, and even a small rug in the living room would be nice. Just small things like that will make it feel like home. However, if we knew that we're gonna live somewhere long term, we would have to renovate the house to make it seem like it's ours. And that's maybe a future project that I might consider if we're gonna stay here. Now let's get into something that I've hesitated to mention, the social dynamics here. One thing that took me by surprise is how different social interactions are here. So one is that people don't always say excuse me or acknowledge personal space in crowded places, which really bothers me. When we went to a New Year's Eve event near the beach, people were just all up on your face and willing to push you around. I'm just not used to that, and I don't like that. And I'm not saying it's not just the locals, it's some expats and travelers. It's a small thing, but over time, I found myself missing those moments of politeness from back home where I'm from, Canada. It's not a huge thing, but I I would prefer that I need to teach my kids to still be polite around people. That might just be my Canadian side. Let's talk about something that affected me a lot lately. I've been getting sick more often. Living here, I noticed that I get sick more often than I used to. Between air pollution, change in diet, and food safety concerns, my immune system has been working overtime. For the long term, I kind of worry about the impact this could have on my health and even my kids. It's been a big thing I've been considering. I was really sick for a while. My stomach wasn't feeling well, but I went back to Canada and I talked to my acupuncture therapist, and she's so awesome. I do miss her, but she basically said maybe the pollution was affecting me and that's why I was having an upset stomach. But she did acupuncture me and I felt great after. I felt renewed again. So I just know that was a huge part of me feeling sick. That's why I always wear a mask and have a humidifier in the house. On days it's not as good. We're moving towards the beach. The air is fresher over there than being in the city because it's so busy. Whenever we go to an activity and there's so much traffic, the fumes just get into our face. Happy that we're gonna live near the beach, that we could do more walking, and not a lot of people are on motorbikes as much there because they do more walking over there. That's a positive side, how to fix that, but it has been bothering me when I was getting sick a lot, and we're just finding solutions and we'll see how it goes this year. And finally, I haven't got food poisoning for the past 2 years, but it finally hit me recently. It was my first time getting food poisoning in Vietnam. Now I'm just a bit more cautious. It wasn't as bad as what I've seen from other people. So yes, I didn't have a good time. I was pretty sick for the 2-3 days. It wasn't a good feeling, and now I just can't eat that type of food. I know where I got food poisoning. Finally, let's talk about one of the hardest parts of an expat life: building a stable community. The expat community and constant goodbyes. So one of the best things about living in Vietnam has been the people. But here's the hard part. Expats come and go. Some of the closest friends that we made have moved on to back to other countries or back to their home. So the lifestyle means that you're always making new friends, but always saying goodbye. I think we've been part of the world schooling groups, which people come in and out of the groups and you only see them for a day or two. Yeah, I'm just tired of that. I don't mind meeting new people, but it's nice to have long-term friendships. What we have done is actually trying to talk to more of the locals and the expats that are planning to live here long-term. That's how we solve this problem. But like I said, that is something that you have to consider if you get into an expat community. You don't know if they're going to be only here for a week, 2 weeks, or a month, or even just 6 months. It's been really hard for my girls when they do meet some people, because we were excited when we met some new world schoolers. However, some of their closest friends are moving away and it's been impacting the girls. They've been really sad about it. So we do still have a couple that still live here that are locals and planning to stay here for a long term. So that's the positive side. However, as a family, I'm looking out for my girls and making sure that they have their friends that they can develop friendships with. So if you're looking for a long-term friendship and stability, this can be an emotional, draining thing for you guys. So does all this mean I'm ready to leave Vietnam? That comes to number 7. Is Vietnam my long-term home? Honestly, I've been back and forth on this. There's so much I love about Vietnam. The affordability, the lifestyle, the beach views, and just everything that we love about the culture here. But at the same time, the pollution, the traffic, food safety and concerns, and the communities that keep coming in and out have made me question rather if this is my forever home. I feel like there's ways that I can still make this work, and we're staying another year here to figure that out, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll let you guys join on with this journey of how we're gonna handle all this next year. I think last year was a learning process, and there's just has things that have bothered me. I just want to be honest with you all and let you guys know how I'm feeling now after almost 2 years. I don't want to say it's all rainbows and flowers. It's not perfect. No country is perfect. There's pros and cons. However, these are just things that have been bothering me, and I wanted to make this video for you guys to understand. But there's always solutions and working things through. So I still love Vietnam. However, as right now, I believe Vietnam is still home for my family and I, but I'm keeping my options open and continuing to explore what's best for my family. Even with all these challenges, Vietnam is still an incredible place to live. No country is perfect, like I said, and there's always a trade-off. If you're thinking about moving to Vietnam, just go into it with your eyes open. And remember, what bothers me might not bother you at all. If you guys want more guides and tips and pros and cons about where I've been to or places that I researched. I started a community. It's called Abundant Aesthetic Collective Community. I'll link the description below that you guys can sign up for this free group, and I will answer your questions once a month. I have a section, Ask Me Anything, once a month, and just comment below and I will answer anything you guys are curious about. But if you would like to hear more positives about living here, check out my video on what I love about living in Vietnam. So I'll see you guys then. Let's grow, glow, and flourish together.